Hi, everybody. And thanks once again for checking into Let's Not Talk About the Husband with me and Lisa.
You have so much stuff here. It's making me nervous a little bit. It's getting a little bit.
Oh, but it's good.
Like
let me get the water out of the way.
You probably should,
my daddy's rocket.
Tell the people about it because it's like there.
Okay, so one of the things I like to do whenever I go on location, I always take a few bits and pieces from home and I surround myself with those things just to kind of bring a little home away from home, right?
Yep.
So here, when we do the podcast, since we're not in our house, which we might be at some point, I like to bring a couple things that are very meaningful to me. The main one, of course, is the picture of our family when we were on vacation somewhere and we were having a jolly old time, jumping up and down for the camera. And then I also like to bring, because this is a copy of the Saturn V rocket. This is a rocket that my father worked on. He was pivotal thrust engineer for NASA back in the 50s and 60s and helped develop the rocket engine for what was called the Jupiter program at that time, but then evolved into the Saturn V. And so the engines that are on the bottom of the Saturn V, see there are 5 engines on the bottom, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, one in the middle. Those are the F1 engines, and those engines all evolved out of the Jupiter program over a period of time. And then I also keep this guy, this little fighter. Okay, so my first movie that I ever did was called Movie, and I played a fighter in it. And so I got this during the filming of that movie, or somebody, maybe the first AD gave it to me.
But why is half of his face gone?
Half of his face got, I don't know.
Did a dog get it? I bet a dog got it.
I think probably the dog got it. The dog ate it. Not necessarily me, but he's got red lips and stuff. But anyway, I keep that because it reminds me of to have a fighting spirit at all times.
Oh.
And then
is this your? One more thing.
So this is okay. So this is a little flying pig, and this is here because this company Tri-Alpha Energy, or TAE, as it's explained on the back of the pig, is the most longest running privately funded fusion energy company in the world, which I helped establish in 1998, and we are hoping. It's been 27 years so far, but we are hoping to develop a whole new way to make electricity for the world that is completely pollution-free and non-toxic and inexpensive and ubiquitous and will last for hundreds of thousands of years and keep the lights on for that amount of time without polluting the environment. That's TAE.
And they basically say it'll happen when pigs fly.
That's right. They always say fusion will happen when pigs fly.
So that's part of it.
This is our logo.
It's also a really nice stress thing. So let me, if I was over here getting really stressed out and anxious, I would just go like that.
Exactly.
You squeeze it.
It's a multifaceted dual-use tool.
Yep.
Okay.
And then one more thing.
One more thing is, so this is the first sauce that Harry's Famous has made. So this is Harry's Famous. This is rosemary red wine sauce. And the Open Food Company, which I made with my niece, we put out these sauces. And our whole goal in life is to put out food, not just sauces, but eventually food that is completely clean, absolutely non-toxic, without any chemicals and no preservatives, and something that you can count on to be really, really scrumptious, really good, and at the same time make you healthy. So that's the point of that. So
it's like a Harry Hamlin infomercial today.
Well, I mean, this is also
I liked it.
It's us. It's your legacy, my legacy, the family's legacy all together. So these are some of our legacy items.
Legacy items.
Yeah, because these things are deep. They have.
Well, my legacy items are like diamonds and bags, and I mean, is that the same thing? If I brought like some of my prized bags here and put them up,
I
what
guess
the hell would my legacy items be?
I don't know. Some of your dad's paintings, perhaps, because
perhaps
so
my
Lisa's
dad's
father was an amazing painter.
Yeah,
I mean, what an artist he was.
He really was an amazing artist. Yeah. He could sculpt, watercolors, oil. He was a beautiful, beautiful artist. It's true.
And a great person. And we have a lot of his paintings.
We do,
at our house.
all over the house. And I have a bunch in the garage. I still have. When my mom passed, once my mom passed, you get everything. Then everything.
Well, the kids usually divvy everything up. There's usually that moment in time when everybody goes to the house and they go, oh, I want this, and you want that, I'll take this, you have that, whatever.
So then you end up with everything, and it's all in the garage because I could only bear to go through a box and take a couple things out. I haven't been able to face it yet. And I'm sure people that have lost their loved ones and lost their parents, can relate that I was just in the garage and I saw my dad's paintings lined up.
Right.
And there's like 2 cabinets filled with the boxes from my mom and dad's house. And I'm just going to have to go in there at some point.
Do you really think, do you have to go in there? Is this something that you need to do? Because it's a little bit like, one of the cabinets in our garage is filled with videotapes of our careers.
Yeah, VHS and beta.
Big beta.
Like, what the fuck are we going to do with those? We have to digitalize them.
I haven't even opened that cabinet in 5 or 10 years, and in that cabinet is stuff that goes back to the 70s.
I know.
I'm sure it's all degraded by now. I mean, I've got the show I did, Space, which was a beautiful miniseries for NBC back in the day. I'm not sure whether if I tried to watch that stuff, because back from 1983 or 84, would that even be there? Is there anything there on the tapes anymore?
Well, I don't know, but I think what we need to do is get somebody who digitalizes that sort of thing and just go and take it all there, because it takes up a whole closet cabinet.
Well, this goes back to the boxes from your parents. Why do we keep that stuff? Are we really ever going to go and look at it? I mean, do we have a picture in our mind that, maybe when we're bedridden, when we're in our 90s, we'll ask somebody to bring that stuff to us and we'll go through it and look through it all and go, oh, I did that. I
have to do it before that. There are pictures, there are photo albums, there are things that I probably want closer to me in the house, but at the time, I couldn't bear it.
But where are these things going to go ultimately? Are they going to end up in albums that are going in a dust-filled cabinet?
There are albums. That's what I'm talking
where
about.
Where are they going to end up?
I know they end up in the
garage. They're in the garage.
No, they end up in the cabinet with the albums.
Yeah, but that cabinet gets opened once every 10 years. We don't actually look through. I mean, every once in a while, someone will say, "Do you have a picture of Amelia or Delilah?"
Well, and by the
10?
way, we do, because our nanny at the time, Emma, took 45 bajillion thousand photos of those kids.
This is back when you actually developed pictures.
And we have so many photo albums of those girls doing everything.
At least 50 photo. I went through them last year because somebody asked if we had a picture of the kids with like spaghetti sauce all over their faces. And you did,
because you found them. I saw.
I found a couple of pictures, but the only reason I would ever go back and look at those things is because somebody said, or I said, I've got to find a certain specific picture.
Oh, that's interesting.
Why do we have them?
I used to do that as a kid. Now, this is before social media and before everything. My mom kept the albums in a closet, and I went to them all the time. As a kid to look at my life and my childhood.
But would you do it now?
No.
Okay.
Because I have the stupid fucking phone.
We have the phone. It's not a stupid fucking phone.
It's a stupid fucking phone at times.
We don't actually publish pictures anymore.
No, we don't print them out.
So they sit in a digital file somewhere forever. And every once in a while, they live there. And then when someone says, "Hey, remember that time?" And you go, "Oh yeah, I got a picture of that."
And I got to go through 6,000 photos.
And you've got to go through, unless you put them in albums. But still, the albums, there are so many albums, it's almost impossible to go through them. And then Apple changes the interface, and you go, "Wait a minute, how do I find my pictures?" I mean, it's a little bit frustrating, but not so much. But my question is, why do we have all these things in boxes in the storage and in the garage and all that when we're never really going to go through them?
Well,
shouldn't we just take it all and go, bye-bye, see you later, throw it away?
Yeah, but I can't.
Yeah, that's the thing. You can't do it.
Can't do it. It's my legacy of my family, and I can't do it. It has to have a place. And I only took I took a few things that are in the house that mean so much to me. And I think it's kind of okay. It's like, you don't have to have a lot, but I have my touchstones that every day I look at and I think of my mom or my dad, and it's enough.
And we have those in the house.
We do.
Our house is filled with touchstones now, which you love to move around a little bit, and that's great because you get it just right.
It feels very good for my OCD.
It really does.
It's so helpful for me.
It's the one thing where we can always guarantee that you've got some kind of focus for your OCD.
I just need to move it a little tiny bit, and everything is okay in the world. Like if I am talking to you and I see that my little baccarat butterfly is a little tiny bit off on the shelf, I get up and I move it just a tiny bit, fucking fixes everything.
Does it really?
Yeah.
If you could bottle that and sell it, then we could make a fortune. You know, no more Xanax. You just got to move a little butterfly and the world is good.
Everything works out. Yeah. I just need to move it. And as long as everything's in its place,
I know. I see. We'll be
good.
having a conversation, and I'll see your eyes fixate on something up on a shelf somewhere across the room.
Yeah.
And I'll be talking to you, and you're fixating more, and all of a sudden you'll get up and walk across the room while I'm talking to you.
Happens
You're
quite a
back
bit.
to me, and you'll move the little picture frame, whatever it is, maybe
Just a tiny
an
bit,
eighth of an
little
inch,
bit.
an eighth of an inch, and I'll say, "Oh, that's better." And
I want to kill you when you say that. I do.
always wanna
When you
kill
say
me.
that to me, like I just want to murder you because it's like, shut fucking up.
We're
I
in the
know
middle
what
of
I'm
a
doing.
conversation, and up you get, and you walk over, and you move it the slightest little
But
bit. little
it
tiny
makes
bit.
such a difference for me. Why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you just like
I
go,
do.
oh, that's so nice
But-
because it helps her so much. Instead, you go, oh, that's better, and I want to murder you.
But until you described it just now, I didn't have any idea of how great a psychological impact that has
It's
on
very
you.
big.
Now I know. Now
It's
I know
huge.
how big that is, and I will. From now on, I will never say, "Oh, that's better." Again,
I
when
would
you move
appreciate
something an
that
eighth of an
because
inch.
you've said it so many times that you're lucky I didn't have like a big fat knife sitting next to me. Okay, we'll go back. We'll deal with the grief and the boxes in the garage at some point. People now know they're there, so
They're
we'll
there,
figure it
yeah,
out.
yeah. And they're not worth anything, by the way. There's no,
No,
reason
so don't
to come in and
don't take them. This episode of Let's Not Talk About the Husband is brought to you by Booking.com. Listing your vacation rental on Booking.com opens the door to more guests. Yay. Booking.com is one of the most downloaded travel apps in the world. That makes it the place to list your vacation rentals if you want to earn more with consistent bookings, reach new markets, and turn hosting into a steady income. Over the past 25 years, they've helped more than 1.8 billion vacation rental guests find places to stay. So why not help them find yours? And it's not just access to amazing guests. Booking.com also makes it easy for you to run your growing business. You can chat with guests, accept or decline bookings, and have total control over your property's calendar and finances. It's hosting on your terms. The best part? Getting started is super easy. In less than 15 minutes, you can register your property, and nearly half of partners get their first booking within a week. Plus, if you're already listed on another site, Booking.com makes it easy to import your property info and get going right away. How cool is that? Whether you're looking to earn that extra income, fill those vacant weekends, or grow your business, head over to Booking.com to see how you can get started today. The reach is global, the bookings are consistent, and the control is yours. You'll love it. It's so easy. You got to use it. For the bookings you've dreamed of, list your property on Booking.com. That's Booking.com.
Talking about, storage spaces and all the, like, for example, those the videotapes that we have in our storage locker at home and in the garage. Like I now know that there's a good chance I will never, ever, ever look at any of those things. And there's no reason to have them anymore because everything's digitized now that we would ever have to look at.
Okay,
And that stuff goes way
but here's the
back.
problem. Here's our problem is we have lived in this house for 32 years and not moved. Now, most people move. And when you move, you have to get rid of things. Our biggest issue is that we have lived, it's a great issue to have, but our biggest problem is that we have so much shit because we have not ever moved.
Well, that's true. We haven't moved. And speaking of moving, okay, so I was on a hike the other day, and who did I run into on the hike?
I don't know who.
Corbin Bernstein and Amanda, his wife.
You did, yes.
And then invited Corbin over for dinner, and he came over for dinner
Who you
with his
did
wife.
LA Law with.
I did LA Law with Corbin for 5 years.
Yep.
Corbin and Amanda have moved 28 times since we did that show.
Yes, they're really good house flippers.
They're house flippers, and they have flipped houses 28 times.
Okay, and so we, on contrast, have lived in the same house and not moved for 32 years.
Right.
So here's my new idea. Here's my new idea as I'm hiking today. Now, this would be a very ballsy, risky thing for us to do, but I kind of like ballsy, risky things. Now, you'll never go for it, but I'm going to present it. So when I'm walking down the hill and I walk by Alex Trebek's old house that they have sold, and they're building this massive compound.
Right.
Okay, so what if? Because I think we could do this. It might end our marriage, but I think we could do it. If we literally tore everything down at our house and created a compound like we're watching build, do it our way, however we want to do it. It doesn't have to look like that. We could then turn around and sell our house for $25 million. easily on our property.
Hmm.
And I kind of love the idea because I have never gotten to do that. I moved into your home, which I was fine with.
So you want to build a house?
No, not necessarily. But I built Belgrade with you, but I've never gotten to build a space with you. I moved into the house in LA and the house in Canada, all yours. I think there's still something in me that needs to do a house. I know there is. So whether we do it at our house or we buy a house and we do it and we flip it, I think I need to have that experience.
Oh, well, it almost killed me to do that, to build that house 30 years ago, 32 years ago.
Oh, that's really great.
Well, building a house is challenging.
But I mean, I think people will also be curious. I'm curious if people go, "Oh no, you need to create a house. You have to." I mean, I've only been able to like do a few tweaky little things at our house.
And they've been brilliant, the tweaky things that you've done.
Yes, but listen, here's the thing that I think keeps us together. I don't push that. Most women would push, I'm not living in this fucking 1980s kitchen anymore. They'd push it and they would fucking push you. I let you have your fucking 1980s kitchen. It's not that I'm mad about it at all.
What? Like, listen to her.
It's a fucking old kitchen. I am itching
to
redo stuff.
How much do you cook?
I don't cook.
So who cooks in the kitchen?
That's why I let you have it. But here's the thing.
You let me have it.
I do.
Okay.
I let you have it.
Thank you.
Because I could really throw a fucking fit if I wanted to. I really could. Most women would be like, you know what? I am not living in this kitchen anymore. I want a new sink. I want a new refrigerator. I want to update it. And I have fought with you about this for since the show aired. So 10 years. And
my standard thing is, well, are you cooking? I'm the one who's cooking. But also, it's not a 1980s kitchen. It's more like it's a forever kitchen. I built it using Pierre Deux.
It's a 1980s kitchen, folks.
Well, what's 1980s about it?
The tile. Go look at the tile. It's 1980s.
Oh.
Now listen, I have been able to deal with it and I go through it and I'm in that kitchen as much as you are every day. Do I cook? No. So that is the argument that wins for you because I can't very well say, well, I want this kitchen redone, but I don't cook. It doesn't kind of work. But
there you go.
I mean, need you to know.
You just satisfied your own argument right there.
I need you guys all to be witness that I'm itching to redo this home in some way. Now, I love our home. I think it is so cozy and yummy, but I'm itching. You got to give me like a room or two.
No, I'm going to give you some calamine lotion for your itch. That's what I'm going to do.
Just give me like a room. Like give me the family room and then maybe.
But you got you did it already. You did the family room. So let's do it again. You want to do it again? You can do it again. Okay.
I already have ideas.
Oh, good. Okay, let's do it.
I'm just itching to do a couple rooms and it's almost like I need permission and that's not right. But see, that's why I need my own home. I think that's why I need a house.
Own. You bought your own house. Remember that?
I had it for fucking 2 weeks, my own house.
Did you ever spend a night in that house?
5 days. That house was a problem. Okay, here's the thing. I bought this house, my first house.
And the reason you bought it was really because the same kind of argument was going on. It's not my house. I don't want to move in with you and necessarily.
No, I needed to go through that and buy a house because we weren't only just starting.
Is it the same kind of need you have, like itch you had to buy a house? You have an itch now to like.
This is a much bigger itch.
Well, this is a bigger itch.
Much bigger. I had money, so I knew that you had to buy a house with your money.
Oh.
I had money for the first time. Anyway, what we didn't know is that house had a bad leak in it. And the bedroom was wet and smelled like mold. It was not good.
Yeah.
I would have really gotten sick in that house.
And it was a particularly wet year that year, as I recall.
Oh, it was awful.
And the house was at the end of a street, kind of on a hillside, and it was dark, didn't get a lot of sunlight.
It was depressing. It was cold. It was moldy. And anyway.
So that was your house experience. You had that.
Yeah, but Harry, that was 32 years ago.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, I think it's time. We're going to have to do something to where like we redo something. I need to do that. somehow. So we're going to have to figure that out.
We'll figure that out. In the meantime, we've got a storage space full of stuff that we never look at.
And why do we still have that?
Well, that's a very good question.
And why are we paying for that?
Let's talk about storage spaces because people have these storage spaces. We have a friend
who's
a billionaire.
I'm actually going to get in the storage space business because that is where you just waste
don't we have a
all
friend
your
who
money.
owns public storage, right?
We do.
And they're billionaires, right?
They are.
So, and that's because we're pack rats. Essentially, human beings, we can't throw shit away.
I know.
I mean,
but there's nothing in that storage space that we will ever use again.
But there's stuff in there that's valuable. So you go, do I just throw this stuff away? I mean, there are paintings in there that are worth a lot of money.
It's a time thing too. So who are you going to do it? You going to go in there and do it? No.
I know, but that's why these guys who own storage space companies have billions of dollars because that they know the whole thing. So the way it goes in our life is we go out, we buy shit.
It goes in the garage or the basement.
Goes after we're done with it, it goes in the basement or the garage, and then it sits in there for a few years. And we go, oh man, the basement's too full of stuff. Let's put it in the garage. The garage is too full of stuff. Let's put it in the storage space. And now, the storage space is too big. We better get another one. So then you've got two storage spaces.
Oh, we have to tell the storage space story now that we're on it.
Okay.
It's so good. So we had a neighbor on our street for a while. We have to tell this because now we're going into storage space territory.
This dovetails with the modeling world as well.
It does dovetail with the modeling world. So we had a supermodel, actually the first supermodel. We won't say the name yet. We had the first supermodel living on our street, renting one of the houses, right? And we were taking stuff to storage for whatever reason at that point. I don't remember.
Well, we were moving stuff.
Furniture.
I had hired a moving company. We were taking stuff from one place and putting it in storage, and so there was a moving truck.
Where were we moving it from?
I think
the store.
We didn't have a lot of stuff. It might have been the store,
but it was furniture. I remember
it was some furniture. So I had to rent a truck.
Yeah.
I had to hire these guys who had a truck. And they had to come to the house, and the truck was empty. It was only like one piece of furniture, but it was such a big piece of furniture that I had to hire a truck.
Like a big oak table or something, I want to say. Okay.
So they came and they got the table, and I liked these guys. I had used them before. They were kind of friendly, and I remember packing the table into the back of the truck and then saying goodbye to them as they drove down the street.
Yeah.
And that was that.
Yeah.
And I said, I gave them the combination to the storage space. I said, put this thing in the storage space. And they said, no problem, we'll be gone. And so over.
That was
done.
that.
And then like maybe 6-7 months later, I had to go to the storage space for some reason because I don't go very often. So what do? I go down and I unlock the door and I open the door to the storage space and it is completely filled. I couldn't even put my finger into the storage space. It is 100% filled all the way to the top.
With like furniture and all kinds of stuff, right?
Boxes and boxes and boxes and boxes.
And
filled,
furniture.
And everything. I mean, it was filled to the absolute rafters. And I go, that couldn't be my storage space because I only have a few things in my storage space, and I look at the lock and that's my lock. Yeah, that was my combination. And then I look down and I see that these boxes are all filled with magazines. And I start pulling the magazines out. And there I see on the cover of every magazine, this supermodel.
Like they're Vogue after Vogue after Vogue after Vogue. And I remember you calling me and asking me if I knew who this person was on the cover of this magazine.
Well, I mean, I actually knew who it was because she had been living on our street.
Well, but you weren't quite sure because this was a few years earlier in her life.
I wasn't totally sure. But now it began to all come together.
Right.
And I went back and I confronted her about it. I think she was either still living in the house or had left her dogs in the house. And she came back.
Been evicted, I think. I think she moved.
But she had left her dogs.
And she left her dogs. She had like big
So she had
golden
come
retrievers.
back to get her dogs who had pooped all over the floors in the house because they'd just been in there for a while. And I confronted her and I said, excuse me, but why is your stuff in my storage space? she said, oh, well, the truck had been driving down the street that day and she'd been like evicted from her house and she had to move out that day. And she told the guys who owned the truck that I had given her permission to put her stuff in my storage space, and they never checked with me to
Pretty damn
find
smart
out.
of her, I gotta say. Like, we had no clue for 6 or 7 months.
Yeah, that she was just had taken over our storage space completely.
Yeah.
And
Gone on with her life and having just no problem whatsoever.
So yeah, big supermodel, very famous supermodel.
Coined herself the first supermodel.
Is that right?
Oh
okay.
yeah.
Well,
She
maybe
came
you
up
can
with the
figure
word.
out who it is, everybody. But
came up with the word. I am the first supermodel.
Okay, so we're not going to. I guess.
Anyway, she's quite clever. I'll give her that. I was always like, damn, girl, that was pretty fucking smart. You needed to get your shit moved.
But she did take it out. She took
it right out.
She took taking it right. So I have to give her that much credit.
She took it right out.
But
she was like, I'm so sorry.
Months,
oopsie doopsie.
And I never charged her for the storage space or anything like that.
Listen.
There's no point in doing that. But yeah, I mean, that was an interesting moment. But so we have these storage spaces, and they keep kind of growing like a fungus. And so that's something we must do for spring cleaning this year. How about we get rid of all that junk?
Let's do it. I mean, now we almost are putting ourselves, what I kind of like about this podcast is you holding yourself accountable. When you say this stuff in front of people, like the 5 people that are listening to us.
6
or 7 or 8, maybe even 10. Now, all of a sudden, I feel like we're holding ourselves accountable, which I think is good, because other times we'll talk about this, but we never do anything about it.
Should we set a date and check back in at a certain date and say we cleaned out our closets?
Well,
we cleaned out our stuff.
That for you would be difficult.
You know, there's so much cool shit in there that I think. Well, in the storage space, in the garage, everywhere. We could have a great garage sale, but we don't have any place to do it.
Well,
we'd have to rent a place.
You can't have a garage sale at your house. Like, you can't have people come anymore to your house.
No, we couldn't.
You just can't do that.
And plus, where we live, you couldn't.
My mom and dad used to have a garage sale at least twice a year. Like, I worked them.
Well, if there's anybody out there who wants to come and help us with a garage sale,
or maybe we'll do it for us. I'm big on that. Like, just come, get all the shit, put it somewhere, tag it, and and all the money goes to charity that we pick.
Of course, 100%.
How about that?
Yeah, because
LA Fire.
Yeah, to give it to the LA Fire
How
people.
about that?
I would be happy to do that in a second.
Okay.
I don't have time to organize it.
Let's do this.
And
if somebody wants to call us, leave us a voice message on our
help
podcast
out.
thing.
We need to get rid of some
shit.
shit.
We could get rid of this shit. All the money. I mean, they can take their own little percentage, but all the money that we make goes to a charity of our choice.
Yeah,
LA Fire or some kind of. I like that idea, and it's motivating to do that.
Yeah, and there's some stuff in there that could make some dough. A sale orchestrated correctly, priced right, could make a lot of money. Yeah.
Okay, let's work on that. But I'm not sure we should put a date. How about before the end of the year? Anyway, I like this idea because then we give the money to charity. We get rid of the shit. Some people end up with some good shit that they wanted.
Well,
and we stop spending. Like, if we added up how much money we spent on that storage space for 32 years, I don't think it would be cute. I don't think it would be cute.
I try not to actually do that because, that would probably, that would be another Xanax or something like that.
I just don't think that's a cute idea. But I like this idea. And then it holds us accountable. And then we're going to figure out, like, my redoing a couple rooms, which gets me creative and gets me doing things. And I like that.
Okay. We like you doing things. We like you creative because when you get creative, great stuff happens.
I know. When anyone's creative, when anyone follows their passion, great stuff happens. Mm-hmm. So I like this idea.
And your passion at the moment happens to be redoing the kitchen or a family room?
I would like to redo the entire house.
Your passion is to redo the entire house. Okay, well, that's
like
a big nut to crack.
Well, don't you kind of love the idea if we redid it and even, the kids wouldn't let us sell it, but what if we redid it and flipped it? And flipped it for $25 million. Yes.
But the kids, they do like it there. And
I know.
They would like to stay there. They would like us to keep that. They would like that to be a family thing.
But see, that's another thing going back to what happens when you're empty nesters and everyone's gone and you're living in a big house And yes, it was lovely to grow up in, but maybe it's time that you move on.
Well, the good news about that house is that it's not that big. It's not a huge, like 12,000 square foot mansion.
No, it's
so
cozy.
It's cozy and it's doable. It's not one of those houses that when you're an empty nest, you got to move out of because it's just way too big.
But if we redid that whole thing and made a compound, $25 million.
Well, it could. We
easily
could make some dough. I'm not. You have to look at the neighborhood. You got to look at the comps. You can't really
15 to 25 million.
We'll see. We shall see. Anyway,
it's never going to happen.
Idea.
It's never going to happen. But I really thought about it as I was coming down the hill today, and I looked over at this Alex Trebek compound being built.
Yeah,
it's quite
that's a
something.
big compound.
It's a freaking huge.
Those
compound.
people must have a lot of kids because that's a huge house.
And a lot of money.
Yeah.
I think of the money, not so much the kids.
Oh, the square footage per person. You don't
there's
think
a lot
about
of
that?
buildings.
Yeah,
in this house,
and
it's not a huge
compound,
property,
right.
but it's a compound.
Yeah,
it's massive. Anyway, I'm fascinated by it. I almost hike by it every day. The kids are both in Milan right now.
Well, yeah,
at a party together. How cute! They're at a Vogue Italia party together
right now as we speak.
Yeah,
the kids are in
Milan at a Vogue Italia party.
Oh wow, that's amazing!
Pretty
our kids
fabulous.
Are living the life, aren't
our
they?
Kids are really living the life. It's so true. I luckily, because I like it, I get CC'd on all the emails. So I still wear my momager hat, but I'm not really that much of a momager.
What's the latest from them?
I just watch. I see everything that's happening, so I know exactly. And every once in a while, I'll pipe in. Like the other day, they both got the same audition.
Well, for the same role.
For the same role. We can't
show.
say what it is exactly, but they both got the same audition. And I literally reached out to both and said, somebody needs to get this role. They're both reading for the same part.
For the same part. So does that cause any kind of competition issues between them?
Well, I think it will if and when somebody gets the part and the other one doesn't. Possibly.
Well, that's going to happen, right?
So
and it's
then
going to
what?
happen in the fashion world too. One of them's going to get to walk in a show, and one of them's
that's
not.
already happened.
One of them's going to get to.
That's already happened.
Yeah. So how are
and
they
they've
dealing
dealt
with
with that nicely.
Yeah.
At first, it was a little rocky. They've dealt with that quite well. But I think this is a really interesting moment when I saw they both got the same audition. And one of them, it's such a numbers game, but what if one of them gets it and the other one doesn't? How's that going to go over? I think it's going to be interesting to deal with and figure out.
Do you think it will inspire them to be more aggressive, somehow have more ambition? Do you think it will make them despondent?
No, I think it'll piss them off that the other one got it. And
so will that light a fire under the one who didn't get it and make them work harder, or make them be angry and resentful?
Angry and resentful. No, I don't know. I don't think there's much you can do. If somebody's right for a part, they get the part. It's just, it'll be interesting if that were to happen, how we deal with that.
Well, the competition thing is very interesting, not only between siblings, but between couples.
I don't feel any competition with you.
Well,
do you feel it with me?
No, I don't. But
none.
But I have been in a relationship where there was competition before.
See, I've never had competition in a relationship.
Where I got jobs and my ex-wife didn't get jobs.
And there was competition. Did she get all bent out of shape? Yeah.
I'm not going to say which one, but one of them, because I have enough.
See, I don't have that issue at all, so I don't ever have to think back which husband was it? Was it my first one or my second? For fuck's sake, Harry. Anyway, I'm not going to say which one.
Three's a charm, right?
Lord.
You got to go through a couple things. You have to make some mistakes.
I have never ever felt competition with you, ever.
Nor should you.
How could I?
And nor would I with you.
But I think that's so weird that your wife felt competitive with you.
Well, we've kind of sensed it with our kids and their boyfriends and girlfriends, whatever.
A little bit. At times,
so it's not. What I'm speaking about is not something totally unusual. I mean, couples do have competition. And so do siblings have competition.
Well, siblings do for sure. I
No.
don't think couples should.
They should is an
I don't
interesting
think-
word,
I-
but
but I
should
don't-
is
I-
not it doesn't indicate whether it happens or not, because it does happen.
I think it's weird couples having competition.
Yeah,
To me, that sounds weird.
yeah, but it does happen.
It
I
does
know, I've
happen
been
because
there,
you had
know.
it with one of those wives of yours.
Well, that
Yeah.
they were not happy that I kept getting. I was getting lots of work, and I was getting lots and lots of attention for the work that I was doing, and there was not so much
I would
attention
love
going to that.
If you were like getting all that attention. I mean, I love it when you get all the stuff. I'm your biggest cheerleader. I'm the kids' biggest cheerleader. I love my friends when they get jobs. I think it is the greatest thing. I don't understand when people are like, oh, but I didn't get it. Oh, it's not happening to me. Because there's plenty to go around.
Well, that's true. There's plenty to go around. I'm not sure that
personally don't
everybody understands that. To a lot of people, life is a zero-sum game. It's like if I get a job, then someone else doesn't get a job.
It
There's
makes
only
them
so
feel
many jobs to
less
go
than.
around. Yeah. And we have never come from that
No.
place. And we've taught the kids that there's
No.
plenty to go around, that they don't have to be competitive with the people out there because there's plenty to go around. It's not
Plenty.
that is ambition in a career is not a zero-sum game. You can
No.
win and you can lose. It doesn't really matter. There's
And
plenty
you
to
do
go
win
around.
and you lose and
Yeah.
you win and you lose constantly.
Yeah. Life is filled with ups and downs, and that's just the way it is. And careers are filled with ups and downs. I mean, look, our career, as actors, I mean, you got to know going in, if you're going to be an actor, you're going to be on top for a few months or a few years. You're going to be on the bottom for a few months and a few years. You're going to be back on top for a few months and a few years. You're going to be on the bottom, then back and the top. I mean, it just keeps going like that.
It's really, I have learned it's just about tenacity. It's the ones who hang in there the longest that win.
Well, you just can't give up.
You can't give up. And as much as you get beat down, you just keep going. People are always like,
look at Demi Moore. Demi Moore,
Yeah.
she's much younger than I am, but I remember when she started out and she was hotter than a pistol.
19
took
when
off.
she got her role on General Hospital.
Yeah.
She was 19.
And then since then, she's done amazing things, but then
she's
disappeared
had
for a while.
ups and
right?
downs and ups and
And
downs,
now
of
back
course.
up. And Pam Anderson is the same way. You hang in there
Absolutely.
and something comes along and all of a sudden you're back on top again.
That's
So-
actually very good advice. Sometimes we can give advice that we have lived, and that,
You mean here on this podcast?
yeah, like we're
it's
certainly
podcast
not.
advice?
Yeah, it's good podcast
Let's
advice.
not talk about the husband advice.
Yeah, because we're not experts, but we are kind of experts when it comes to that.
We're
Surviving.
not experts, but we are experts.
We're
Just so you
experts
know.
at surviving this acting business in this world. We've survived the ups and downs, but we do have a 1980s kitchen.
We have a 1980s kitchen that works like gangbusters. It's beautiful and it works like a charm. And I know you want a new sink, but the new sink would just look old in a year. So you want a new stainless steel sink. It's going to look the same in a year. 1 year. It's going to look exactly the same as the one that's there now. It's been there for 30 years. It's going to,
See what I'm dealing with? You guys, I can't win this one, and I am a winner, and I like to win, and I can't win this, and I have to figure out a way
you just have to relax.
to just not
You have to relax and
even
let go. Let go
have
and let
it be
God.
a possibility because I can't win it.
Let go. Just let
But
go.
my little fighter in me comes up
Let
and goes,
go.
but why can't you
You
win
don't
it?
cook.
You're Lisa fucking Rinna. You
I
can win
cook.
anything.
You don't cook. I cook. Let go. Let go. Let God. Let go. Satnam. Satnam.
Okay, then let's-
Namaste. Namaste. Let go. Namaste. Harry's in the kitchen doing the cooking. He loves the kitchen.
I'm going to start twitching. My eyes going to start twitching and my...
You're a winner, Lisa. You are.
I can't win this one, though. This one I can't win.
Eve,
And
we have a game to play.
I think
Can we get off this and have a game, please? Eve, let's play a game.
Let's do it.
Okay, that was a good one.
Let's play our trusty old game of Harry's Wheel of Wild Cards.
Oh, the wheel.
I'm going to
Okay.
get my own wheel of wild cards next, too.
Well, all you got to
I'll
do is
just
give them
do
to
mine
her.
next.
Yeah.
Let's do it. You know where to find me, Lisa.
I do.
All right, I'm going to spin the wheel.
Okay.
Spinning.
Spinning. Okay, I have a question for you guys. Are you superstitious?
Yes.
Okay, what are some of your
I
superstitions?
will not walk under ladders. I will not do that. And Other superstitions. Okay, so in the theater in England, there are a lot of theater superstitions.
A lot.
And the ladder is still one of them. Even in England, you don't
and
walk
that
on the
light.
ladder.
What about the light that they put on the stage?
Well, you got to put the light on the stage. But I'm not sure. Is that a superstition? That's a safety thing. But it's also just a tradition.
It's a tradition,
that you put the stage light, which is just one pillar with one big light bulb on it.
Yeah.
And that goes out on the stage at night after everybody's finished. That's the stage light. And that's every stage has that.
Every stage does that.
But there's a couple of, for one thing, if you whistle in the theater and you get caught whistling in the theater, and I'm not sure whether it's you whistle and get caught, if you just whistle and don't get caught, what the deal is. But if I ever catch myself whistling and I'm in a theater, I've got to stop, spit on my left shoe, and spin around to the left 3 times.
Is that right?
That is right.
Okay.
And if I find somebody else has whistled, I stop them, put my hands on their shoulders, spit on their left foot, and then turn them around 3 times.
Oh, wow.
That's what you have to do to get the curse of
Have
the
you
whistling.
ever had to do it?
Yes, I have.
Oh.
Of course. And also, in England, if somebody walks up behind you and you're on a sound stage, you're at the theater, and they pick off your back like a long string. The length of the string is how big your next job is going to be.
This is so fascinating. I learned something new every time we sit here. It's crazy.
I know. So if somebody comes up and says, "Oh, you got a little length on your back," and they pull it off, and it's a long string, that's how big your next job is going to be. And if it's a little tiny thing like that, you go, "Oh shit, that's too bad." Well, anyway, but
wow, those are good ones.
So and there's a few more actually. You're not supposed to ever say the name of the Scottish play, but that goes at all times.
At all times.
Not just in the theater,
Right,
but
I
an
knew
actor
that.
can never mention the Scottish play.
Yes, I knew that.
And for those of you out there, he's a Scottish king who has a wife who becomes a murderous wife and induces
Starts with
him
an M.
and induces him to become a murderous king. Yeah. Anyway, so that's the Scottish king.
I've always been superstitious. My mom was very superstitious. So, like, you don't step on the crack because you break your mother's back on the sidewalk.
On the sidewalk?
Yeah.
Really? Do you still not step on the cracks?
No.
Really? You always avoid the cracks?
Yeah. Because if you step on the crack, you'll break your mother's back. That's
but your
one.
mother's gone.
I know that, but it's instilled in me. She's gone, but she's still around. I see her all the time.
Okay, so you're still not stepping on cracks.
No.
Anything else?
I won't walk under a ladder.
No, okay, that's a good one, I think.
Anytime a black cat crosses my car, I don't like that. I don't like a black cat crossing in front of me.
Do you think that's a bad omen?
I don't think that's a good omen. Yeah.
So you believe in omens. What are some
What's
good
the difference
omens?
between an omen and a superstition?
Well, how about the hummingbirds are a good omen
Well,
because that's your mom.
I see my mom all the time.
Okay.
Yes, that's different. That's a whole different.
But isn't that superstition?
No.
No?
No.
Oh.
No, that's just.
So the hummingbird being your mom is not superstition.
No.
It's reality?
Yeah. That's just a
okay, it's a fact.
thing. Well, I mean, I don't think you could prove it in a science lab, but it's in my mind.
But it's not superstition.
That's not superstitious, no.
Oh, okay.
Superstitious is something that you have to do. Like if you don't do it, something bad's going to happen. Now, I can go down the superstitious rabbit hole with my OCD, and I try not to do that. Like,
give me an example.
well, if you were in my brain, you really
don't wanna
would
be in
want
your
to get
brain.
out of it. But I'll share a little bit. Like if I get something like a tweaky thing in my head and I'm like, I have to turn that light off before I leave or something bad's going to happen. Like I'll say that to myself and I'll have to go back in the room, turn the light off and leave. Why? Who knows? Or I have to throw this away before I leave, but I have to do it in the second trash can, not the first one.
Do you ever have things like, well, if the light doesn't turn green at a certain time, then I know I'm not supposed to do this? Or
No.
you look around and if something doesn't happen or if something does happen, you say, I can't do this because that happened.
No.
I've heard about that happening before, where people like look around and they see certain things happening around them. And if one thing happens, then they know they're not supposed to do this other thing or whatever. I don't have anything like that in my life.
I don't either. But I have this other, the weird OCD thing that is like, if you don't take care of this right now, something bad could happen. That I don't care for. I'd like that to go away.
When was the last time that happened to you?
Probably yesterday. I don't know. It happens frequently.
Okay.
Yeah.
but you're still breathing, so you're
Yeah,
alive.
I mean,
Whatever you've done, you've
listen,
mitigated whatever the problem
I'm
was.
as fucked up as they get, but I'm a managing, I am a manageable fucked up human.
Say that one more time.
I'm a manageable fucked up human.
Okay, and is that how?
It's manageable.
Okay.
But I mean, like, if you lived in my head, you'd be like, oh my
no,
God,
no,
she's
no.
a fucking whack job. Like, I mean, seriously, if you really broke down your own thoughts and you really think, it's not good. We're not good thinking our own thoughts as humans. It's not good.
There is a whole school of thought, by the way, about changing your thoughts and being able to think whatever you want.
Yes, and I very much
you
do
can
that.
rewire your brain so that you can think only great thoughts about your life and what's about to come.
Well, that's the work I do on a daily basis.
The rewiring. There you go.
But, I think that our biggest challenges can be our thoughts.
Without question, we can think ourselves into a real pile of trouble.
Yeah.
That is true. And I see it happening around us all the time. And I see it happening.
And we have to remind each other
all levels.
Always to like flip the switch, start to go down the rabbit hole. You know what? Time to change. Positive, manifest.
Yeah.
Daily basis.
I look at our youngest daughter, both of our daughters, and I see how they've manifested in their lives. And I can only hope that I will have the same manifesting abilities that they have.
They have some good ones.
They do.
They really do, man.
I mean, I learn every day from them.
Yep, me too.
Anyway,
that was
hey
fun.
guys, thank you so much for checking out Let's Not Talk About the Husband.
Bye.